remember, this comes out at 10 frames, right? If you block anything 10 frames or higher, you block anything at 11 frames. Oh, wait, nope. 1-2 jab, wall splats. That's guaranteed, right? Yeah, what's good, everyone? I'm bringing y'all some Tekken 8 content. We got our hands on the beta, and I'm also going to be bringing you some Azucena. So we're getting our hands on Azucena now, and we've figured out the general game plan. So I wanted to go ahead and give you guys a breakdown and just an overall general approach of just how she operates, what's her game plan, and what to look out for, because I know for a fact that a lot of you guys are looking for the that new stance, that automatic parry or dodge stance, which is called her Little Volador. So with that stance, just understand that she can automatically evade lows and highs. And believe it or not, as frightening and as scary as this stance is, as we've seen from the trailers, she's actually pretty vulnerable in this stance. So I have not been able to hold back and actually block. Okay, so if someone wants to approach me with a mid, I have to eat that mid, right? However, that's why I can automatically parry lows and highs, right? So unfortunately, I'm not in the actual practice mode to actually show you guys that. So I guess they don't have that fully released yet. So we'll more on that, I guess, later. However, how does this stance operate, right? And I'm assuming for y'all, you guys are wondering, how do I even deal with this? Because from the trailers I've seen, it looks like you can't even hit her, and she's automatically right behind your back. So again, she's actually a lot more vulnerable than you think in this stance. So what the tools that she has to mitigate that vulnerability that she has in that stance, right? Her whole game plan is to kind of just shut you down. And how does she shut you down, and how does she build that confidence that she displays here in this game, where she's just in your face, dancing around you, and she's basically like, go ahead, do something, I dare you. So what tools does she has to kind of really mitigate that? So in this stance, right, we're gonna talk about the stance at first, and then we're gonna talk about the transitions that get into that stance where we will be using in the neutral setting, right? So going straight into the stance here, she has a couple of options, right? Like I said, she is vulnerable with mids, but a lot of her options are going to help mitigate that. So what are those options? A couple of those options are her heat engager, starting with just standing 2. As you can see, simple enough, self-explanatory. I believe her 1 is one of her fastest options she has out of her stance. So just worry about anything 13 frames or higher. But again, this is subject to change. We are in the beta, right? But yeah, her 1 is going to be her fastest options. 1-2 is going to be a knockdown. It looks like that's like a natural combo. If it connects, just understand that both are high. So if she decides to throw the second hit, duck the second hit. And then regarding for people who like to check with mids and duck, she has well, take away the duck, actually. Let's just say people who like to check mids, right? That's why she has her 3+4. That's going to be her power crush high. So leaves you in a really weird position, gives her a free follow-up. And then for that, if you do decide to duck, and for people, or if let's say Azucena is like, I think this person's going to duck, let me try out some mids. She has a couple of mid options here. I'm still learning this, so I apologize for a little bit of like a delay or a stutter. We're still trying to figure this out here, guys. So she has a couple of options here for the mid game. So like I said, her heat engager is one mid, but I think on block she loses her turn. Her other mids are going to be 3-1. So that's like a natural check. However, they decide to again go through with it, just duck the high. Has a follow-up though, which if you decide to hit strings, you're gonna get counter hit launch, as you can tell. And then as well, with just her stance, she has some interesting movement, nothing too overpowered or anything like that. And with this stance as well, she has options to kind of switch from that, right? So if she's already in her stance here, you can press forward 3+4, or excuse me, she can press back 3+4 to do her back turn moves, which is another thing we're gonna get into about as well, because she has some options there. And then you can press back 3+4 to kind of do a high crush dodge, which is, I think, is pretty cool. And then what are her options in the back turn dodge here? She has just one mid here, a slower mid here. I have yet to actually figure out like the benefits between the two mids, because I noticed she has one mid and then she has another mid. The only thing is one mid is a little bit slower. We can actually get to the stands. Yeah, so it looks like, yeah. Yeah, so it looks like she has just this mid, and then which is just standing 2 and 1+2. But again, before we get into that, right? We're just talking about her stance transitions. So she can go into her Liberador stance with forward 3+4. Then she can go manually back turn with back 3+4. She can high crush with the same move again, and then she can go back into the stance here with forward 3+4, right? So we've talked about her options and what to do, and basically what to avoid. To summarize that, avoid highs and lows, check with mids, be wary of power crushes, and lastly, I did want to talk about the low that she does have in this stance, which is her 3. So that is going to be comes out in 16 frames, pretty slow. However, what it does is that +2, it's gonna leave her with a little bit of just a small frame advantage. So if someone likes to throw out a slower move that has as you can see, 1+2 is going to be your, let's see, 1+2 is going to be your fast mid check. That's going to come out at 14 frames. Still trying to figure out what is the difference. What is the difference between these two? Anyways, moving on. When in her stance, she has her standing, which is her 3 option, right? That's gonna automatically leave her back turn. So she has a couple of options here. So we've talked about this mid right here so far, and then we've talked about this mid so far. Another option she has, which reminds me a lot of Brian's hatchet kick. Yeah, it's a little scary move actually. That's a very scary move. A little bit annoying to deal with. +4 goes right into her stance here, and then on a counter hit, which is actually pretty cool, she gets a free 2, which is pretty cool. Now finally moving into her regular fundamentals. I've noticed, I feel like her lows are weak. She doesn't have a crazy low game in the neutral. Like, you have to go into her stances and you have to kind of play with momentum, right? Be creative with how you play around with your opponent, because at the end of the day, I think Azucena gets more of a reward with the way you read your opponent. So going on to the neutral settings here, some pretty interesting punishes here. She doesn't have a regular 1-2 string, crazily enough. Her 1-2 string is a natural punish. It reminds me of like think about like Gigas's 1-2. It's a high, so it's not a high mid. It's gonna be a high natural hit combo. And here's what's crazy about this, right? Let's go to the wall here. Remember, this comes out at 10 frames, right? If you block anything 10 frames or higher, if you block anything at 11 frames. Oh wait, nope. 1-2 jab, wall splats. That's guaranteed, right? I can also do, it's crazy. So that wall splat, so you're gonna have to be very careful of Azucena at the wall here. As you can see, she also has a 2-1 string. Comes out at 10 frames, leaves you at a really nice +7. So I'm gonna be using that a lot. I'm an Armor King player, so 2-1 is a very natural punish for me. Comes out of 10 frames, so which is awesome. She has a follow-up string after that, which is ends in a high if someone likes to press buttons, so just always duck the third hit. And as well, as far as her approaches go, she has a nice range 3-2, which is what I like to do, which is a middle. I'm sure that looks punishable. I'm not too sure exactly the frames. However, she can cancel that by pressing forward into her stance. So what that is gonna make opponents do is it's gonna make you a little bit scared to try to punish that move on reaction, because you don't know if there's gonna be a stance following up or if there's gonna be just a regular follow up. So on counter hit, that's gonna give you a free follow up here. Right, really cool. And then as well, she has a couple of mix-up strings as well. So one of her homing moves starts with a mid-high natural hitting combo with that's a heat engager. However, again, it's a high, so duck the high. But you do need to be aware that she has extensions off of that to where she can do a high that let's see if that actually combos a natural hit. It does, but it's a high. So she has a high option. And then she has a mid option. Just a knockdown mid. And then she has a mid-high. So, interesting concepts going on over there. You guys can see what I'm talking about as far as how I was playing with the mind games. Playing with Azucena, right? Now, we're not optimal with Azucena at all. We're still learning so much from her. So, over time, it's going to be one of those things where I feel like Azucena is really going to have to... this is the kind of character you're going to just have to put passion and time into. I don't think anything as crazy as, like, Horong or, like a super complex character, right? Like Jin, where you have the electrics, the movements, the wave dash, and all of his different options and all of his different ways you can use Jin. Azucena kind of specializes in a particular playstyle, and not that crazy to get an understanding of once you look at her moves list and you see how she operates. Things start to become familiar. So yeah, that's talking about strings real quick too. That's another string I'm not too sure if I mentioned here. But we said about her 1-2 string, that's a wall splatting move. So 10 frame, 28 damage hit. She also has her 2-1, and then she has her 1-1, which is really cool. Again, another unique feature. I don't know that many characters that have a high mid string off of a jab besides Unimitsu. That's the only person I can think of. But yeah, her 1-1 is going to transition to her stance. She also has a mid launcher out of that stance, so be careful for ducking her highs. Yeah. And I mean, what do her combos look like? She has an orbital. She does have an orbital. So her wall carry is pretty interesting too. She can do this. Cool, and then she has some other moves. I'm still learning a lot of her combos, so that's the only bread and butter combo I've really been using. So not that complex. I know she has some other combos that we can do, which we can try this one. Oops. So we have something like that too. As far as her heat engagers, we can do combos like she has a down forward 2 as well. Oh, that could work. Let's try that. Oh, that was too far. Anyways, we're not trying to make combo videos. I wanted to just go ahead and show you Azucena. So yeah, really basic breakdown basic breakdown. This is not a high level breakdown at all whatsoever. We're still learning a lot with her. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna be recording some matches, and we're gonna be playing them around with her some more, and just also having a lot of fun. Other than that, thank you guys for coming by. Stay tuned for a lot more Tekken 8 content. I'm gonna be trying to like go crazy on this beta while we still have it. And I will see you guys in the next video, and hopefully this video helps you understand Azucena and how you can properly deal with her. I can assure you, playing with her is really fun, and fighting against her is also pretty fun too. It could be a little bit frustrating, but it's only because of the lack of understanding. So you just have to be careful. If you're careful, you'll be fine. Other than that, take care, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the Tekken Lounge.